Japan, England, and West Germany, with a combined population equal to America, have 6,000 murders a year. America has 27,000. In the 80 years of this century, America has had more than 1 million murders, more than all her fatalities in all her wars. Bodies and more bodies. All day, every day.
I'm recording myself introducing this shit right now. What's up? This is Jay Venaza on the set of the j.hexx new music video for, what song is it again?
Mountain of the Cannibal God.
What? Mountain of the Cannibal God. This is some behind the scenes footage. Check out j.hexx getting the makeup on.
Hi. Welcome. Welcome to my stiff ass face. It's nice to meet you. At times like this, I feel very vulnerable, but it's okay. It's my making of. Shut up, you whore. Why do you have to hit me, you dumbass? Just do the damn thing.
Stop.
What's up, faggots? Be a daddy. Pay your fucking rent, bitches. It's truly a dream.
My name is Mr. Catastrophic. My real name is Chad Carson. I'm well known for contributing to the song Message to the Mainstream, featuring Intrinsic and Danny during a real-life productions. I personally believe the j.hexx project and his current album, Mountain of the Cannibal God, is the future of the horrorcore hip-hop genre. The storytelling and the flow is equal to that of Rhode Island's Too Strange and New York's Cage. When I first grabbed the CD, it just sucked me in. I popped it in, grabbed a bag of popcorn and sat in the dark. It was just like watching a movie in a theater with, like, you know, headphones on and everything. I mean, it's like a cannibalistic grindhouse extravaganza delight.
And action. Lay her down and hold her down. Alright, cut.
When I first started creating MOTCG, which stands for Mountain of the Cannibal God, this was right after I had released the 7 Doors to Death and the Twitch of the Dead's Nerves LP. You know, it had a warm reception, so I was trying to think of a way, how the hell can I come and basically change things from what people already knew what I do. So I basically just started doing research, checking out all types of horror films, and then one day I basically came upon a news report which was on YouTube, and it had some dialogue from Chaz Balin in regards to media violence, violent horror films, and how the media usually blames the violent horror films and violent media on the effects of people that become sociopathic killers, which I felt was incorrect. So I wanted to create an album that kind of reflected those themes, and Not Under the Cannibal God was the one that allowed me to do it.
In the world of video rentals, sex and violence often sells, and there's now concern that some videos may be selling your child a violently distorted future. Movies depicting realistic murders are among the hottest draws for teenagers. And tonight, in part one of our special series, Channel 3's Don Hammond tells us why the scare goes beyond what we see on the TV screen.
There's this one guy who's sitting on a mattress and he's ripping himself apart with a razor.
Usually there's one person that's killing, and they always kill the girls.
The gore. Oh, there's naked women all over the place.
They like to actually show the brains hanging on the floor.
They get chopped with axes and stuff.
And I like people getting cut up. I get into it.
At first you go, ah, but then after you see it and you see the whole movie, you like it. You start to like it.
And what they like are the bloodiest, most explicit and violent movies that have come out in the history of filmmaking. Many combine sex with violence, often depicting mutilation, rape, and murder. But they aren't seeing these movies at the theater. They're renting them from the horror section of your local video store.
The violence that is in there is things being done to women and on women. They're being hung up, they're being dismembered, they're being cut with surgical tools, they're being shot in the face, point blank with a gun. And all of this type of stuff is being presented as acceptable.
With repeated exposure to the slasher films, I think what we're seeing is a callousness, a kind of desensitization to female victims of violence in particular.
Give it to her, you know, and slap her, shoot her, kill her, tear her apart.
They know it's entertainment, they know it's special effects, they get together, they have little parties, they watch these movies, they have a good time. I don't think they're really seeing the undercurrents that a lot of paranoid parents are seeing.
Chaz Balin has talked to hundreds of teenagers about horror films. He's written books on the subject and serves as the splatter critic for 2 horror magazines.
I don't think they have to show the naked girl, but they do. They put sex and violence together a lot.
But it's cool. it's fun. It's crazy.
It's maybe their first exposure to sex. It is a slasher film in which sex is paired with the most gruesome and graphic forms of violence, so that the one begins to evoke the other in the young child's mind. That's a cause for concern.
Strong concern for Dan Lenz, who's a noted authority on the effects of sex and violence in the mass media. As a psychologist and professor at UC Santa Barbara, Lenz has conducted studies which expose male college students to slasher films, movies that depict women being brutalized in the worst ways, movies that are the most popular with kids today.
People that originally perceived a lot of violence in the material see less violence with repeated exposure. The material that was originally deemed to be offensive, degrading to women, less so with repeated exposure. But even more importantly, when we put them in a new situation now, when they're asked to make an evaluation of, let's say, a rape victim at trial, and we actually show people videotape reenactments of a rape trial, have them evaluate the victim, we find that she is judged as less injured, a little less sympathy for her, if the young men have been exposed to slasher films.
What's up, y'all? It's Dago Loke from the Brothers Grimm, and I'm here today to talk to y'all about what I think, or how I feel about the media and the way they like to portray how horror movies and violent video games and violent music breeds killers, if you will. Now, let's think about that for a second. Of course, we're talking about the media. So off rip, you already know that this is just a bunch of instigating bullshit. They like to make a good story. So anything you hear from the media, just go ahead and chop that shit, clip it. because it's worthless.
That is recording?
Yeah, it's recording, right? Okay, ready?
Oh.
Okay, and I'm gonna go.
Look like